Hey, good afternoon. Carl Rominger here, coming live from the WHP studios, 540-0580. And yes, that was what you thought it was. Okay, you've got a legal question. Call in, 540-0580. I'll answer it here on the air. Also want to remind you, we updated our website, RomingerLaw.com. And of course, the show is weekendappointment.com, where you can post your questions, etc. But the law firm website, if you want to see what the attorneys look like, learn a little bit more about me and what kind of services we offer, our office locations, etc., go to RomingerLaw.com, and we have a news feed on there where we put up some exclusive articles. Most recently, we have one on online divorce services and if they're really a good option or not, one of these LegalZoom-type divorces. The most recent posting we just put up is Should I Fight My Traffic Ticket? And it kind of explains some of the pitfalls about just pleading guilty. Seems like a lot of folks out there just plead guilty to their traffic tickets, and I understand you don't want to be hassled. But there are a lot of collateral consequences to those, insurance increases. And the biggest thing is, you not only got your first traffic ticket, you've driving 40 years, it's never going to happen to you again, and then you get the second one. Now all of a sudden you got 2 convictions on your record because if you didn't do anything about the first one, you don't do anything about the second one, you're in really bad shape. Whereas some sleazy, skeezy guy who was smart enough to get an attorney every time he got a ticket and has gotten out of 9 of them, gets his 10th one, and he gets less consequences than you because you thought you were just doing the right thing, sending it in. So anyhow, I can go on and on and on. But we do have a little report there on RomingerLaw.com that you can read about fighting your traffic ticket and whether it's a good idea or not. And, of course, I give you the general gist. We're going to tell you it is. But we give you some specifics in there about points and how it can affect you. We report up there that we had on put on Weekend Appointment before. Can the police search my car? And an all-time favorite are my Facebook postings private because the answer is right there. So if you go to RomingerLaw.com, you can look all that stuff over. 540-0580, Carl Rominger answering your legal questions. Frank, you're on the air.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. When a person dies in Pennsylvania and they have a will.
Yes.
I heard of a case where that will was broken. Now, how, like the people that were supposed to get the interest on the money of the will,
okay,
I heard that they somehow worked it out that they broke the will and they got the money now instead of just the interest that they were supposed to get.
Well, I don't know specifics of what you're talking about, but let me give you an example. Usually we'd talk about trusts in a scenario like what you're talking about, but if you talk about a will, sometimes wills aren't valid, and sometimes the language in a will is not valid. And so, we do free wills for folks. If you go to weekendappointment.com, you can sign up and get one. And one of the things I tell everybody when we meet in the office is the reason it's important to have a lawyer write the will, it has to be written right. So if you want to accomplish something, I'll give you an example. Let's say, Frank, you have a Ford F-150 pickup truck that you want your grandson to have, okay? And you put in your will, I leave my 1998 Ford F-150 to my grandson, Bill. And at the time you die, you sold that Ford F-150 and bought an almost identical one, but it's a year later, right? So it's a 99.
Okay.
Well, your will's not going to work. He's not getting that. And if he tries to take it, one of the other guys is going to say, one of the other heirs is going to say, that's not yours. He left you as 98, not as 99.
Okay.
Point is, when a lawyer writes it, he'd write, whatever truck I'm driving at the time of my death, I give to. Or whatever truck or whatever vehicle I own at the time of my death, even broader, if you want to give him any vehicle you own. Point is, you have to be very careful how you write a will. So if you've done them yourself, if you've gotten a kit off the internet and filled it out, or you've gone to one of these websites where you put it in, you're not getting good advice.
Well, I'm sure this guy would have went to a lawyer to have his will written up.
Yeah.
And it just warned me because he had his will written up that these people would get the interest forever because they didn't want anybody to get the money.
Right.
You just wanted to give the interest away. Now I heard that this organization broke the will and they got their money now. So then that.
Well, there has to be a flaw in the will. You can't just. There's no reason to break a will, and there's no ability to break a will unless there's something wrong with it.
Okay. Can I ask you one other quick question?
Yeah, and Frank, let me give you one caveat, though. For instance, you can't disinherit your spouse. So if you try to write your wife out of the will, she can take against the will.
No, this wasn't the case.
Right, I know. I'm just trying to say, so there are ways that a will can be or things can be lined out. So if you're divorced, even though the old spouse is in there, we line them out or pretend they don't exist by statute. But go ahead. What's your other question?
Last year I was down in Virginia. My wife and I were riding along with with her sister and husband. They live in Virginia. And he got pulled over in a small village down there in Virginia, and he was cited for speeding. This was just going through a little town, one of those deals. And then the officer that pulled us over, he was an officer for that little village. He asked me, I was riding in the passenger side of the vehicle, and he asked me if I had my driver's license on me, and I said yes. And then he said, may I see it? Well, I showed it to him. Now, is that normal procedure, or could have I said no, or what?
Well, that's interesting. The courts have actually struggled with this question, but the U.S. Supreme Court has said, and the Pennsylvania courts have come to the same conclusion. So the federal law is, and the law of Pennsylvania is, yes. I don't know about West Virginia law, but here's the answer. The courts have said the driver and the passenger can both be passengers can be requested to give identification and compelled to do so if they have it. And you do have to provide it. The states can have statutes as long as they have a statute that requires proof of or showing your identification. Now, here in Pennsylvania, for example, if you don't have it on you, the police can issue you a citation to produce a driver's license, for instance. If you didn't have it on, you got 5 days to show that you do have it. But realistically, as long as you check out in the electronic systems these days, they're probably going to let you go. So if you just said, well, I don't have my driver's license on me, but here's my name, date of birth, and social security number, and he checks you in the computer, and these days, of course, you pull up a picture associated with your driver's license photo through what they call JNet or PennDOT's system. That officer down there could probably even get a visual of you and go, yep, he looks just like the guy he claims he is, so I'm probably just going to figure he doesn't have his driver's license on him. They can also require drivers and passengers to get out of cars in Pennsylvania as part of a routine traffic stop.
Yeah, I was just a passenger on the the front seat on the.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law was driving, and I just didn't know. I never heard of that before. First, he asked me if I had my license on me, and then he said, "May he see it?" And I was just curious. I thought, I'm going to call you sometime and ask.
And you know why he does that? Because, listen, here's good police work 101, right? Now, am I in favor of him being able to ask you for your license? I don't think so. The papers, please show me your papers so we see if you can pass through the state or not. I don't agree with that as a political standpoint, but nonetheless, from a legal standpoint, the law is he can. And at that point, good police work is what? Well, run you against it and see if you owe any warrants, if you're wanted anywhere, child's deadbeat dad.
Yeah, I knew where he was coming from, but I never heard of that before. And I complied because I don't have anything to hide or anything, but I just thought, boy, that sounded unusual to me. But then it's really, they can do that then. Yeah,
and I'm only answering from the Pennsylvania and the federal regimes. Obviously, if West Virginia had a protection I was unaware of, it
was in Virginia.
Virginia had a protection that would apply. But Virginia's also the state that has the crazy high fines on their speeding tickets, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're not very consumer friendly there.
So, okay, hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Bye.
540-0580, Weekend Appointment. Carl Rominger answering your legal questions. See you after the break. Hey, welcome back. Carl Rominger here answering your legal questions on this dreary Saturday afternoon. Sorry about the weather, folks. I'll call Tom Donovan or whoever we talk to around here at WHP and give him a talking to about the weather. Who does the weather around here, Shane? Oh, okay. Well, we'll blame them for this. Tony, you're on WHP 580 with Carl Rominger. What's going on?
Hey, I had a child custody question. Me and my ex-girlfriend split up about 3 years ago, and since that time, she's been in and out of jail, and once again, she's back in jail again for various charges. I guess this time she had not lived up to her end of the bargain as far as her probation was concerned, and I guess she was on the run for several months, and now she's back in custody. I've called a number of times or several different lawyers about going to court, getting full custody, and all that. And every time I talk to somebody, they always say that I need to go through mediation first. I think with her track record, mediation is kind of a moot point, and her being in jail again, I don't see why I would have to do that.
Well, I'll tell you why you have to do that. Because that's just the way they do it. In other words, and when they tell you about mediation, what they're really talking about is a concept called conciliation. See, the court has sort of created a one-size-fits-all program statewide, right? And so most counties have this conciliation process, which is called sit down with a conciliator. Now, I can tell you that a lot of times it's pro forma, meaning, I'll sit down with a conciliator with the other counsel, and, okay, the judge said we have to meet Tuesday at 9 a.m. It's Tuesday, 9 a.m. All right, boys, what's going on? My client will never agree to nothing. And the other lawyer says, my client will never agree to nothing either. And the conciliator says, okay, I guess we're done. And then we'll give you a court date to go see the judge. Now, if she's in jail, I can sidestep conciliation with a emergency custody order.
Okay.
Which that creates the emergency status. They're still going to send you back to conciliation at some point and say, when she gets out of jail, I'm not going to order what happens when she gets out of jail. I'm going to make you guys sit down and talk about that. But I can certainly put you in the driver's seat, so to speak. And under the new custody statute, which seems to really disfavor criminal matters much more than the old statute did, you probably have an even stronger hand to play.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because, up to this point, she's contributed nothing, and not that she had anything to contribute. So
right.
There was really no point in going after her for it. And just the environment that she was in, granted, she hasn't put up a fight to try and, see her daughter and all that. So it's been easy up until this point. But I just, knowing that she was on the run, it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility for her to come grab my daughter and go. And there wouldn't really be anything I could do about it.
That's correct. And that's why you need to have an order in place. What county are you in?
I'm in Lancaster County.
Okay. We can help you down there. Not a problem.
Okay.
And, Tony, by the way, I have a gift certificate for you if you want it. It's Torillo's Restaurant in Carlisle. You interested?
Sure.
All right. Can I put you on? I want to put you on hold. Shane will get your information. We'll mail it out to you. It's a gift certificate. I've got a few of them to give away today. It's Rillo's in Carlisle. It's a great restaurant. You're going to like it. A little bit of a drive for you, but I think it'll be worth it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Hold on, brother. Shane will get your information. Let's see. So, yeah, Tony just got his free gift certificate to Rillo's. I'm going to give a few of those out today, just as I feel like it. That's just the way it is. So don't ask me for one. You're definitely not getting one. Mary, you're on the air.
Hello, Carl.
How are you?
I'm just fine. First of all, I do want to let you know you have a delightful program, even though sometimes it's sad.
Yeah, well, sometimes we don't have the best. Unfortunately, I'm like a doctor. Nobody comes in because they're really happy and excited about something.
Exactly.
Unless it's a pregnancy or an adoption, I guess. Those are those are the exceptions.
Right. Okay, now before I ask my question, I do have just a short comment. It seems to me like, and I don't know if you'd agree with me or not, but would you agree that attorneys have a somewhat handle on how to keep a better relationship? Don't you think that most problems are because of our relationships?
Yeah, well, how would I explain that? Attorneys are notoriously, sometimes people will tell you, hard to relate to. But one of the things that they teach you how to do in law school is to separate things out into separate issues. And so we're very analytical. So I don't know if that helps us or hinders us, but sometimes it's easier for us. We also tend to be a little bit more cognizant of what we're saying to somebody than other people might be.
Now, that's very helpful. Now, here's my question. I was talking to a friend, and he said that in Pennsylvania, when you call someone on the phone and talk to them, you cannot record it. But if they call you on the phone, you can record it. I thought neither party can record it without the permission.
Yeah, neither party can record without the other's consent on a phone call.
That's what I thought.
Unless, this is an interesting phone call. This would be the exception, right? You realized when you called in that this is going to be broadcast to the world.
Yes.
So you have no expectation of privacy in this phone call.
Yes, but now can you actually replay this recording?
Yes, we can.
Because I know ahead of time